Welcome to Thank You for Playing podcast, where you got a few video game enthusiasts ready to give you all the gaming news and fun. I'm BLJ34, and I'm accompanied by my amazing co-hosts, Toro and Lambo. How are you guys doing today?
What's good? What's
doing
the deal?
Well.
Yeah, I'm all right.
How's everybody doing?
Hope y'all doing well. So, as promised, our last episode, one of us decided to get Thanos snapped, and now I'm finna shine the flashlight in his face and ask him to give us a brief explanation of what the hell was that? Because it was like, So, BLJ, if you don't mind, a brief explanation of your mysterious disappearance.
Yeah. What was it like to be snapped by Thanos?
Well,
Survivor of the blip. What's it like?
It was rough, man. It was a race against time, if you want to put it like that. Long story short, I got this beautiful laptop, but I don't have the official charger that comes with it. So I charged up my laptop a little bit, and I was like, all right, we're going to pot it up. It's going to make it. We're going to do the thing, and it's going to be great, But little did I know, the charger is so weak, I guess. While it was on the charger, while we were potting, the juice from the battery was going down just at a slower rate. So it wasn't even charging up like I was hoping it would. So towards the end of the episode, I was like, all right, we're going to make it. And then next thing you know, just your boy got Thanos snapped out of here. Computer died on your boy.
Game over, man.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
It's great.
I have to admit, that's a bit of a mundane reason. I thought it was going to be something more exciting. The mafia was outside and you had to run or something. Like they found you.
Or the cat stuck up in a tree and, you had to be that superhero to that little kid.
But I've had moments like that. Maybe sometime in the future, I will definitely let you guys in on these stories.
Okay.
But I got
whenever a dancing emergency comes up.
No, but I got a brief question for you guys.
Oh man, last time it was French fries. Brace yourself. Ain't no telling what it is now. It's good.
So we're video game enthusiasts, right? Am I right in saying this? Am I wrong? Am I right?
That doesn't sound right to me.
I would define myself as being enthused by video games. So I'm gonna go with.
And we're also fighting game enthusiasts as well, right?
I agree.
Oh, okay, yeah, that I can get behind.
Okay,
man.
So I've had this thought in my mind for some time now, maybe the last couple months. It just randomly popped in my head, but I'd like to hear you guys' answer to this.
Mm-hmm.
So we, have a long history in playing video games competitively, whether it's in tournaments. Well, you guys are the tournament players. I'm more of the online warrior, but I kind of take it a little seriously online too. But one question I got for you guys,
right?
At some point in time back in the day when you were playing in tournaments or online, pretty serious, you were pretty good. I'm assuming, the best that you could be, And my question for you is, the fighting game player that you are today, do you think you would easily beat your younger you at your top of the game when you were younger? Or would you?
Definitely.
You think you'll be better as a older you? Would it be a 5-5 matchup?
Oh, yeah, I would. Bro, it would be a 10-0 matchup.
10-0, meaning the older you would beat the younger you?
Would stand no chance.
Why do you say that? Why do you say older you would stand no chance against younger you?
All right, so I've touched on this a few times in past episodes about how I would play against the AI at home and then go to tournaments and realize I wasn't as good as I thought I was because I was playing a different game. Yeah. And that right there is one of the biggest things that really makes a difference in my gameplay. I understand how to look at the game differently now.
Oh, so you said older you would beat younger you. See, BLJ got
yeah. older me would beat the hell out of younger me. That's what, like, I don't think younger me would stand a chance. Younger me would probably try to do some stuff that works against the AI that's just kind of standing there waiting to see what you do. Whereas while older me would do the same, would sit back and let younger me make mistakes, older me would capitalize on those mistakes where the AI doesn't necessarily.
Right. Question for you. So, one of your main games, like back in the day, it was Soul Calibur, right?
Still is, yeah.
Okay, so you're saying older you, Soul Calibur player, would wash younger Soul Calibur you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, a lot of my competitive growth has really come in the last probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So easily older me would outplay younger me.
Well, okay. Well, what about you, Mr. Toro? Older you or younger you? 5-5
First of
matchup?
all,
10-6? Like, what's the matchup? What's it looking like?
First of all, I want to say this is like a souped up question because, man, that bug is, you don't hear questions like this. I don't know where you got this from. I think you got this shit from that Thanos snap, like wherever you was at, third eye open to something.
Yep.
But that's a really great question.
He's been in the dust realm for 5 years thinking of questions to ask us.
Yeah.
I mean, to you guys, I got snapped away for a few hours, but I was actually gone for like 5-10 years. So I'm like,
oh, shit. Damn.
I had enough time to figure
his third eye opened up and everything.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, that's a great question. I don't know how much younger we're talking, but
I'm just talking about prime you. Like, it could have been 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Like,
you mean me when I was at my best?
Yes.
When I was at the tip top.
Yes.
So I want to tell you this. It's going to sound saddening, but I feel like the current me now would lose. But the present me to younger me, I'm going to go younger me maybe 4 or 5 years ago when I used to run this group called the Brawlers Tavern.
Okay.
I'd eat, sleep, breathe fighting games, especially Street Fighter V. Poor soul. I would play Soul Calibur 6 religiously. I probably have like 1,400 hours in that game. What else was I playing? Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 11. I feel like over the past couple of years, I still play. My eternal training partner, we used to live with each other. He doesn't live with me anymore. He's pursuing his own ventures. Shout out to my younger brother.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of the reason I'm not as sharp as I used to be. Is I still play fighters. I still love them, but it's different when your training partner is your sibling and they keep you aware. So in regards to if I challenges my younger self 3 or 4 years ago, I would give it a 6-4. 6-4 or 7-3, but it would not be 5-5. I want to say that I'm older now, I'm wiser, I would win, but that's my ego. But just consistency and awareness and just familiarity with the game in general, I would lose because now I don't have that same drive that I used to. Now, it's not saying that I can't train and get that back. I'll never be one of these. I hate to call them losers, but it's loser talk. Oh, I got old man reactions to these youngins. Fuck that. Oh, F-bomb. That's how passionate I am about it. But I can't stand that. You're like 37, 38. Oh, I'm not as young as I used to be. Like, get up. Like, what's the best way to put it? Fight with conviction. Like, don't let them, oh, old man, you washed up. Like, Daigo doesn't think that. He get out there and he put boot in ass, So I'm not saying that
big boot in ass.
Hell yeah. I'm not saying current me would lose to younger me because of my age. It's because I haven't been as consistent and passionate as I used to be. Shout out to BLJ again for that amazing question. But 7-3.
You think your prime was a few years ago?
6-4. Yeah, for sure. Probably about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Fair enough.
For sure.
Okay. Interesting.
What about you, BLJ?
I mean,
An 8-2 matchup?
I will say, because I feel like back when I was really at the top of my game, um, I would say I was more of a. You ever heard of like a play? Let's say like an NFL guy. There's a younger guy that's really fast, really strong, got all the talent in the world, but maybe he lacks
Mhm.
the fundamentals that maybe a more seasoned player would have. So he can have all these
Right.
abilities, but when he plays the more seasoned person, he might come up short just a little bit just because you don't have those fundamentals. You know what I mean? And I feel like
Mhm.
days, I feel like older me, I would say I'm more patient. Like when I play fighting games, like I've gotten a better idea of when to pick and choose my spots. You know what I mean? Um, I've gotten a
Right.
better understanding of like matchups. Like I had matchup knowledge back in the day, but I feel like these days I have a better understanding of it. Like, character
Right.
normals and, the distance, how they work. I'm not really a guy that reads frame data and stuff like that, but I mainly go off feel, you know what I mean? So, if you keep playing the game long enough, you kind of pick up on what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't work, you know. But I feel like
Right.
older me has a better feel for those things versus younger me. Younger me, I had a lot of execution. You know, I like to play the
Mhm.
mind games type things, but I feel like all the time I didn't slow it down when I should slow it down, and sometimes I would lose a match when I could have won if I just took a breather or two. You know what I mean?
Right. I got you.
So I feel like
I've
older
definitely
me,
been there myself.
yeah. I feel like older me, I don't really think it'll be like a blowout. Like if I had to give it a rating, it'll probably be like a 6-4 matchup. And I feel like on any given
Six
day,
four.
yeah, I feel like any given day it could probably be a 5-5, but I would give it to older me. Just because I've learned a little more patience. I won't say I'm like super patient, but I've learned better patience than younger me for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for those that may not be familiar, when we're talking about the matchup being a 6-4, 5-5, or 10-0, what we're referencing is how many games out of 10 would either the younger or the older of us win.
Yeah,
So in BLJ's example of 6-4, he's saying the older him would win 6 out of 10 matches, while younger would win 4 out of 10.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
It's like I'm the only scrub. I'm the only scrub that would lose to his younger self. So
yeah,
I
no,
got some
that's
work to
that's
do.
something that's been on my mind for a little bit. I was like, man, like I wish I could play younger me in the game, like at my highest level back then versus now, and see how it would go. Like man, if there was like because how they got the virtual reality stuff that's coming out. Like what's the like the metaverse and stuff. Like how cool
Yeah.
would it be if you
Oh,
could
that
pull up?
thing's dying though.
Oh, it's dying already.
Yeah, like nobody cares.
Oh, I mean, it
I'll
won't.
let you finish what you're going to say before I say anything more
Oh,
about that.
well, no, I was just saying like, well, I didn't know it was dying, but let's say if it was, gaining more popularity, like how cool would it be if you can pull up 5 year younger you and play yourself in video games? Like, that'd
Mm,
be pretty sick, you know?
yeah, like they used to have in racing games where you could race your ghost.
Yeah, like the Crash Team Racing games. Like you can do a time
Yep,
trial lap, and then you could try to beat your ghost lap. Yep, perfect example.
yep.
But tell us about the
Actually,
metaverse.
speaking
You
of
said
ghosts, there's
it
a
is done.
really wholesome story. I'm gonna tell you this story real quick because it's
Okay,
pretty wholesome.
okay.
This kid, this was years ago when I read this article. Him and his dad used to play. I don't even remember what game it was. Maybe Forza back on the original Xbox. And his dad passed away shortly after. And he kept the Xbox, and 20 years later or whatever, he booted it up and booted up the game just for nostalgia because he wanted to play the game and all that, and then found that his dad's ghost was still on there. And so he races his dad's ghost all the time just to kind of relive that.
Mm, okay,
It is pretty wholesome.
that's pretty neat.
But back to the metaverse thing. Yeah, they're trying to push metaverse now as like this kind of virtual office space rather than having people return to work, they want you to sit at home with the VR headset and the gloves or hand controls or whatever and pretend like you're in the office for 8 hours. Like that's their big push at the moment. And if I remember correctly, I think they just shut down the Facebook gaming division as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they shut down something to do with Facebook gaming, which is further driving home the fact that the metaverse isn't really going to be for gaming. It definitely seems like they're pushing either an office alternative or just a giant virtual reality mall to try to sell you a whole bunch of shit you don't need.
Gotcha.
They're wanting to take like all these high-res facial recognition photos, and they also want to be able to track your facial movements in real time so that they can mimic it on your avatar. And I don't know about you guys, but the last person I want to trust with that kind of information is the lizard robot himself, Mark Zuckerberg.
Whoa, we better chill before we get canceled right now.
Allegedly, in my opinion.
Hey, I just saw a video of him MMA training. He might beat all of us up. He has some moves, man.
He can.
You better chill. Just relax.
You win.
You win.
No, but
Zuckerberg.
Let's get into the main topic. You guys ready for this one?
Been ready since the 31st of July in the 80s.
No,
I said too much.
Today's topic is about cheat codes in video games. Do you like them?
Yeah.
Did you like them? Do you hate them? Would you like them to come back? How do you guys feel about those?
Well, back in my day, Sean, I used to go grocery shopping with my mama. And when we get to the checkout line, there used to be this manual. It's an ancient relic now. It's called Tips and Tricks. And I used to time myself like, hey, I only got a limited amount of time to get these cheat codes down. Say, Mama, can I borrow a pen? Then I'd write down the codes as fast as I can and be super excited that I got this forbidden knowledge without paying for the book. And I would go home with this cheat code, like, you know, what's a good cheat that just, there used to be a cheat on Sonic 2 where it was called debug mode. It was also in Sonic 1 as well. But Sonic 2's debug mode, Sonic 2 is when they finally introduced you to Supersonic. So I get this code, and I always see this code as, hey, need a little bit of help. I didn't see it as cheating. It was me playing through the single player experience, right? And there was no
are you bad at the game
whatsoever? Yeah, like that. Typical 8-9-year-old. Hey, do you not have time to collect all the emeralds out of this super hard special stage that we designed for adults?
Do you not understand what you're doing and you just need to go fast?
That's it. Gotta go fast. So I put this code in, man, and it just blew me away. Like, you got to pick any stage you wanted to go to. 50 rings, you could turn into Supersonic. He was invincible. They had a little cool theme. And one of the, I'll say it's nonchalant because a lot of people didn't care, but I flipped out when I did it. And this particular cheat code, I didn't get from the manual. I got it on accident. I don't know what I did when I was younger, but there was a code where you could let Tails use his government name. Instead of it being Tails, it would say Miles at the bottom left, you know, where it counts how many lives he has left.
Yeah.
It would say Miles. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I thought that was so cool. This is going to sound super nerdy. Miles Tails Power. That's
Davis?
Tails.
Power.
No. Miles
Where the hell did I get Davis from?
I don't know, but Tails' name is Miles Tails Prower. That's his name. And I thought that code was so cool, I didn't want to cut the game off because I didn't know how to do it. But eventually I had to cut it off. Like, cut the game off, go to bed, you got school tomorrow, and then I cut it off. And I didn't find that code again until like years later. I was pretty sad. Like, you know how you haven't done a code in so long and you think you dreamed it up? Like, man, did I really do that? But I did it. And later on I found out how to do it. But I thought that was really cool. So to answer your question, another bit of nostalgia, I definitely agree with cheat codes being a non-competitive games for fun purposes.
Yeah.
What was you saying, Lambo?
Did you ever leave your system on overnight?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
PS2. Well, when I first got my PS2, I was still in high school, super excited. I had to save up to get it. I didn't have enough money for a memory card.
No
I'm
memory
surprised.
card.
I'm surprised that mug didn't blow up because
Right.
I had this old school game, and I'll see if we can get some footage of it right now. Shout out to this game. It was the first game I ever owned. I got it out of the bargain bin. Uh, Eve of Extinction. And you
First
could
game
tell that
ever,
this
huh?
was, yeah, you could tell that this was one of PS2's first games. But man, it is a cool game. Little corny, I'll give it that. But for what it was back in the day, and that's all I had. And basically, when I got my PS2, they're like, "Hey, you kid, welcome to the next level." You know, my first trial of the next level was Eve of
Oh
Extinction.
shit.
And man, that game will have a special place with me more than likely forever. Like I don't down talk that game. And me, my brother, my cousins, we would all play it. And we weren't like, ew, we just embraced that game. Like you could tell that game was one of PS2's first glory games. But yeah, for sure.
Man,
You just
To
unlocked
answer
a
your
core
question.
memory.
speaking of
Oh yeah.
leaving the
Do you
systems
remember
on,
the slogan? Live in your world, play in ours.
Oh yeah. I'm not too familiar with that one.
Ah, that was the PS2 slogan.
Oh man.
yeah, back to
Unless it was a PS3 slogan, but I'm pretty sure it was PS2.
Yeah, it might have been. What was you saying,
you said
BLJ?
leaving your system on to save a game. I think it was Street Fighter Alpha 3. Yeah, no, yeah, it was that one because that was the only one that I owned. But they had like this Easter egg or code or whatever that if you left the game on for I don't remember how many hours, man. It was like 48 hours or something like that. But it'll give you a new opening game screen. Like, you know how when you let the game just play by itself and then it'll have like this
Yeah.
little cutscene movie or whatever? It was a different one if you left the game on for some hours. So I remember doing that one. I don't know how many hours it was, though. But I had to leave it on overnight for sure. And I remember
48 sounds like a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
yeah, I forget what it was though, man. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was a different movie that it gave you once you left it on for a certain amount of time. So I've definitely done that for those reasons.
Oh, I did it back on Super Nintendo when they when they would be like, "Hey, here's the passcode to get to this level instantly." Bro, I'm not writing that down. I'm just going to turn the TV off and go to sleep. I did it all the time with Super Star Wars because that game was hard anyway. So I would play, get to a certain point, and be like, "All right, it's time for bed," and I'd just turn the TV off, go to sleep, go to school, come back the next day, turn the TV on, and get back to playing.
That's when, like, systems to me back in the gap, they were built a lot sturdier with longevity in mind. And you could leave those systems on and they didn't blow up or overheat and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'm not jinxing myself, but a lot of people that I know had problems out of their PS3s. Like mid life cycle, they would die. But my PlayStation 3 from 2009 is still in tip top shape. That mug can still go for a morning jog, 3, 4, 5 miles. Still do the burpees, and it performs amazing. So I guess I'm grateful, but I also take care of my systems. No
I was going to
salt,
say that's
no
really what it
shade.
is taking care
Yeah,
of them.
I'm not. Yeah, not throwing shade at anyone, but yeah, people say they have all these crazy problems. I'm like, man, do you have it in a high traffic area like dust, or do you rage and boomerang your controller at it? Like, people don't tell you the whole story. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
To add on to that, like my PS3 still works. I've had 2 systems that I can remember that have stopped working. And one of them is my PS2 and then my Game Boy Advance have stopped working, but both of them have stopped working because of a problem that's going to happen eventually anyway. Like the Game Boy, the battery has just gone bad and it needs to be replaced. And then for the PS2, there's a little metal piece in the PlayStation 2 that will eventually break down over time just due to heat. And it's finally broken. It's like a $15 fix. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But as long as you take care of your stuff, it's gonna work. Like my PlayStation 1 still works, my Super Nintendo still works, my original Nintendo still works. You just got to take care of them.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Lambo, finna say, I'm interested to hear your take on the whole cheat code.
I love cheat codes.
Okay.
I think that, just like you said, as long as they're in a non-competitive game, why not? And even if you want to lock them to where you have to play through the game one time normally before you can use cheat codes, perfectly fine. Like, play through the game as intended, and then here's a bunch of stuff for you to just turn on and have fun with. You know, I think, what was it? Halo actually was a really good example of that. Like, you would play through and earn, what do they call them? Skulls? Challenge skulls or something like that?
Yep.
Where you would find them in the levels and they allowed you to turn cheats on.
Yep.
Like, I thought that was a really cool idea. But even if it's just play through the game and then once you're done, you know, we'll give you a handful of cheats that you can toggle on and off. You know, could you imagine running around something like Horizon or Ghost of Tsushima and running around in bobblehead mode?
All the amount of joy it would bring gamers.
You know, I would like. I like bobblehead mode. I don't think I would like it in those games. I would prefer like a super huge sword versus a bobblehead. You know.
Oh yeah. Or what was it? Low gravity mode?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
I think low gravity mode would be pretty fun too.
While we talking about it, what type of cheats would I like to see in Ghost of Tsushima? I wouldn't say so much cheats, but if they had something like God Armor mode or something where he looks cool and he one-shotting people cool, I feel like the game would get a little boring fast, but it would be cool if they let us have different types of mounts. Like, shout out to Kage, my trusty steed, but if I could trade him in for like a bull or like a dragon or a tiger, that would be badass. You know what I mean? I'm a shout out to another game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They let you do that, have different types of mounts. Most of them, you had the good old microtransactions, you know, but the fact is the idea was cool. Like, you could ride a winged Pegasus, winged steed. You could ride a bull, and it was something else. I can't remember, but if I could ride around on a tiger with Ghost of Tsushima or a lion, that would be just badass. And as far as altering the game, it would be cool if you beat the game and you get access to certain weapons you didn't have in the first run through of the game. Like, Jin is a swordsman,
like a New Game Plus type of thing?
Swordsman. Yeah. Jin is a swordsman, a magnificent swordsman at that.
Yeah.
But if he could stumble across a great sword, or if he could stumble across a spear, a halberd, or what's another weapon, like the staff of the mighty Wukong, think about how cool that would be if he unlocks a whole other move set, you know, that makes the game more of a unique experience because you did the hard work and beat the game first. I feel like I'm going to go on what y'all were talking about. I feel like that this day and age, they kind of forgot about that stuff. They leave it out. They're more worried about how can we get them to keep playing this game and spend more money instead of how can we reward them for their loyalty and them supporting us. They need to bring that back. If y'all hear us out there, bring stuff like that back. It sends a great message to us. Yeah, it sends a great message to your player base.
I mean, they talking about you know, getting people to stay playing the games. Like, I remember back in the day playing games and putting codes in. That definitely made me play it for a couple more hours if they had some good codes, you know?
Yeah, I want to do a quick shout out right now. We're talking about cheat codes. I have a cousin who is legendary in the racing game, fishing, road rash, and Grand Theft Auto franchise. He's also the #1 astronaut in the world. I love him dearly. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Theo. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown on my cousin Theo.
Okay.
He was the Grand Theft Auto Vice City master. We used to have this deal where me, him, and my brother would play Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And whenever one of us died, we would pass the controller. Me and my brother were awful at the game. So we would die fast. And Theo would play that mug for like 5 hours. He'd do all these crazy tricks where he could drive on the side of the wall, or he would, if you land in the water in GTA, you would die. But he knew a way to drive in the water and not die. And this was without him
I
punching in
remember
the
that
cheat
one.
codes. Yeah. But later on, he started doing the cheat codes after he showed that he was God tier at the game. But he used to do big wheel cheat. He used to do wanted level up or down. He used to do the money cheat. Like, he was just really good at the game. So I want to shout him out and his prowess in having fun with the game. When we start talking about cheat codes and altering the game, made it fun. He even made that game fun to watch, even though he would hog
Sounds
the
like a
controller for
cheater.
5 hours. Yeah, he wouldn't die. But shout out to Cuz, love you, and thanks for the memory.
Yo, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, that was probably one of the more fun open world games that I really enjoyed cheats in. I feel like they had quite a few different cheats. You know, my favorite one probably was I mean, you could unlock the jetpack just playing the story, or you could just start up a new game and put in the jetpack code and just have the jetpack and just fly around, just places you're not supposed to be. You know, flying in the jetpack, shooting down on people. You know, so that was definitely a good game for cheats.
Yeah, I think Vice City is probably my favorite GTA. But I remember running around using cheat. Like, after I beat the game the first time around, just running around in the city using the cheats. You know, spawning in a rhino tank and playing with the wanted level and just trying to survive as long as possible. Like,
Yeah,
it was just fun running around doing basically nothing other than having fun.
yeah. I remember in San Andreas they had a cheat where you can make the NPCs riot. So while you're walking around,
Oh yeah,
beating up each other. If I remember correctly, some of them would be running around with TVs, like they stole TVs from somewhere, and they'd just be running around. Like, it was kind of crazy, but super fun though, you know. But speaking of, you know, open world games and cheats, like what are some things in open world games that you guys like or dislike?
Well, first off, I will jump directly into the fray and say open world games, I love the freedom of choice. When the open world genre first came out and you talk to someone of what their progress was, I always like the fact, well, I'm right here. Oh, you're right there. I went this route and I did this. I have this weapon. I don't have that weapon, but I have this armor. The freedom of choice, I love that. Like, it gives you a lot to talk about. And then if, let's say, BLJ, you went route A, Lambo goes route B, I take route D. I'll skip C, I go route D. We all get together. Well, hey, when you get to
would
this
take the
part, do
D.
this. When you get to this part, do this. I may ignore that. When you get to this part, do this. When you get to this part, do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, we can share our secrets and, you know, give each other tips. And that's like cool. Like, instead of us doing the same, I don't want to say mundane, but it is the same mundane linear path, we all get to go our own path. Something that piques our curiosity, you know?
Mhm.
So that's one thing I love about open world
one
games.
game that we're
Go ahead,
doing that with
Lambo.
recently, it's not really an open world game, but me and you, Toro, we were playing Sifu. And I remember there was one part where you needed to get like a key card or something, or get some information
Yeah.
from one guy or something like that. But whenever you spoke to him, it'll give you different options to say. And if you chose the wrong thing, then you wouldn't get the information you needed to access a different part of a different level. And based off what you were saying, where you can speak to someone and say, hey, I'm here, you're there, we actually collab together to help each other out at different parts in that game, you know? So I definitely get it.
Yep.
Trading ideas, trading secrets, you know?
Yeah. I think for me, what I really like about open world games is finding the secrets, like being able to go explore and find things that the main story isn't going to take you to.
Right.
Going, and then I really enjoy, like with Horizon, I enjoyed going and find, I forget what they were called. Was it Crucibles or something, where you could go and unlock new new corruption targets?
I played the game, but I forget exactly what you're speaking about.
Yeah, it's
The
just like those
corruption zones
underground
were the zone
factories
where
where
the dinosaurs, they had like red eyes and stuff because it was
the red, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Corruption isn't the word I was looking for. Where you could charm different targets. Like you go into these underground factories, and at the end you fight one of the tougher robots, and if you win, you unlock the ability to charm stronger robots.
Yeah. That was definitely a good game. Were you able
And
to play the
like,
newer version?
no, I haven't played the new one yet. But stuff like that is what I enjoy. Like going and finding these secrets and getting. I don't like being overpowered in games because I don't want to just walk through the game.
Yeah.
But the way I generally offset that is like I will play on the hardest difficulty available whenever I start the new game.
Yeah.
And so it kind of counteracts that a bit. And I don't know. I just enjoy finding secrets, finding cool stuff.
You know, because you say you like to start games off on the hardest level. Is that what you?
Yeah, especially open world games.
I remember back in the day, right? This was probably I don't even know. 8, 9 years ago. Let me take you back in the time. You know, let me rewind it real quick. Back when I was like 24 or something. I remember I was online and I was playing against one of my friends online, and we were talking about getting new games, new story campaign mode games, you know. And he told me he always buys the game and he'll try to complete the game on the hardest level because he paid $60 for this game and he wants to get the most out of the game, you know. So for him to do that, he put on the hardest level, you know, and then, you know, he struggled a little bit and he tried to beat it. And at the time, I was one of those guys, I would just pop in the game, and if it was already on like medium or normal level, I would just play it from there and just beat it, you know. And I never even thought to go back and like put it on hard mode or, you know, try to find things I didn't find the first time. But after he told me this, literally almost 10 years ago, every time I get a new game now, like a story mode game, I always put on the hardest difficulty for sure. And I definitely get my money's worth. But I will say, the last game that I tried that with, and I had to tone the difficulty down because it was a little, it was a little OP. It was the most recent God of War. That one was pretty.
Yep, that's one of two games that I've had to turn the difficulty down.
Because the reason why, at least for me, why it was so tough was when you're fighting enemies, if you don't kill the enemies like within a certain amount of time during battle, like certain enemies will like power up to like, because you'll start off at level 1 and the enemies are at level 1, so you can fight them. But let's say if you're fighting 4 enemies and you're struggling killing 2 of them, the other 2 will power up to level 2 while you're playing. So then they're like just too strong to like kill. You can still kill them, but it's just way harder. So that game, I want to say the very first level, like my first encounter, I was on that encounter for like maybe an hour just because I couldn't kill all of them.
Oh, yep.
It was pretty hard.
I was right there with you too, because that happened to me. That first, I don't think it's the very first fight, but the second one when you have like, what is it, 4 or 5 of the...
Yeah, like...
I don't even remember what they're called, like the revenants that you're fighting?
Yeah, I got to the second like fight, but trust me, like the first like what should be like the first 20 minutes of the, maybe 20, 30 minutes of the game, I was there for like 3 hours, like trying to beat just the first 2 encounters, like at the very first level. That's how hard it was.
That game's rough.
Yeah. But most of the games I'm able to do it, you know, the first playthrough around, but that one, that was pretty tough, man. I had to turn it down, man. I forget the difficulties, if it's like easy, medium, hard, or insane or something like that, but I had to tone it down like 1 level. I was good from there.
Yeah. Yep. And funny enough, the other game I had to turn the difficulty down on was another God of War game, and I think it was either 2 or 3. And I remember the point where I had to turn it down was when you first fight the Cerberus for the first time.
Okay.
And I don't know why. For some reason, I'm assuming it's just because I was younger and not as intelligent. But I just couldn't figure out the fight, and I had to turn it down. But I've since gone back and played it on the hardest difficulty, and got to that point, and I was like, "All right, this is where it was hard last time." And then I just walked right through it like it was nothing. And I was just like, I don't even know why this was hard.
Gotcha. It's maybe one of those things, when you keep practicing something and you can't get it, and you take a break from it, and you come back and it's easier. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, and I want to say it was like the remastered trilogy or whatever that they did, where I went back and played it and was like waiting to get to that point the whole time because I remembered how hard it was the first time around, and then it was cake.
Do you remember which God of War that was?
It was either 2 or 3. I want to say 2, but it may be 3. No, it was definitely 2 because 3. Yeah, I don't remember it being in 3. I'm pretty sure it was in 2.
Gotcha.
It's about halfway through the game when you first run into the Cerberus enemies for the first time, and they show up. It's actually kind of similar to what you were talking about with the new God of War, where they show up in one form, and then if you don't kill them in time, they change into another one. They show up as puppies, and if you don't kill them in time, they turn into full-grown Cerberus.
Talk about cheat codes. That's definitely a part of the game where a cheat code would come in handy, like invincibility or strength or something.
Or double speed. You remember that cheat code?
From which one? Which game was that one?
There was a few games that had it, and if you turned it on, like either your character would move twice as fast, or the entire game would go twice as fast.
I don't think I played a game that had that cheat in there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And that's what I was gonna say. Like I was gonna ask Toro, like, would you want to play Ghost of Tsushima with a double speed cheat code turned on, where the entire game is moving at, maybe not necessarily double, because I know you have to have pretty quick reaction times anyway, but turbo edition, we'll call it. Would you want to play Ghost of Tsushima in turbo mode?
I would definitely give it a go. It doesn't sound, I'm not going to say it's super interesting, but it's not something that I'm against. I might turn turbo mode on and sword strike here, deflect there, and it's fun. So I would most definitely give it a go.
That's one of those game modes where things can go south very quickly because the enemies are moving so fast.
Yeah.
You know, a game that has some really fun cheat codes in it is actually the
What's that?
NFL Blitz series.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, man. Between big head mode or like infinite turbo, I forget some other ones they had on there. You can put codes in and change the color of the footballs and stuff like that.
That game was just fun anyway.
Yeah, I forget which one I was really good at. Which ones are the more popular ones? Wasn't it like Blitz 2000 and 2001? Those are like I don't know which one is considered like the best, but I know for sure one of them.
I don't know about you. The first one was the best one to me.
Which one is that one?
The very first one that came out. It came out on PS1.
Was it 2000?
It was just called NFL Blitz. It was just called NFL Blitz. That was the best one to me. That mug was overpowered, man. So
was that one in arcades, or was Blitz 2000 the first one in arcades?
Man, you asking the wrong person. I couldn't tell you.
I remember playing 2000 at this is really gonna date us. I remember playing Blitz 2000 at Doc and Lottie's all the time.
Oh man.
Oh, you know what? You are right. It was just called NFL Blitz. This came out in 97.
Yes, sir.
97. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I played. Well, I probably played that one. I remember playing 2000 though, because I definitely remember the cover for the game. It's got
and Blitz is different from the one you were talking about not last time, but before, right? Where the guy's like, I own you. That's something different, ain't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Which one was that
NFL
one?
Extreme. NFL Extreme.
Okay.
Extreme.
You know, Blitz was good, man. Blitz and what's the other one? Like NBA Jam. Did you guys ever play those?
Yes.
Oh,
I did.
yeah.
And the cheat codes to get all those celebrities, man.
Oh, that's
Air
right.
Dog, George P. Funk,
you could play as Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
Which
all
one
those
was that
cool
one?
codes.
Mm-hmm. NBA
The one you
Jam.
play as Godzilla, was it? I thought it was the other one called NBA on NBC.
Well, that one NBA
That's what
on
I thought had
NBC. You
those
could play
crazy.
as I think you could play as a clown.
I love that one.
You could play as a horse.
Yeah.
You could play as like a brown horse or a white horse.
Yeah.
Oh, you could play as so many characters. That was the one I had as a kid growing up.
Yep. That I'm going to say
Yeah.
I'm probably remembering wrong, and y'all are probably correct.
Oh, but yeah, but still, those were fun. Those were really fun.
Yeah, those were really
He's
good.
on fire now.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't like Scorpion in one? Like you couldn't play as him, but was he like in the crowd or something like that?
I could not tell you, but I think he was in the crowd.
Let's see.
He might have been.
That sounds like some classic 90s arcade.
Because that was back when they both were made by Midway. Like Midway made Mortal Kombat, right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Midway.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking it up right now, and they were actually in the game. Like you could play as Scorpion or Sub-Zero.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
In which game?
Oh, I hope this ain't like a like somebody did like Mugen or something, but I see Scorpion and Raiden in there. It says NBA Jam. I don't know. I gotta look to see which one for sure.
I bet you it's real though. That sounds like some just straight classic 90s. Makes no sense, but they're gonna do it anyway. And then you had that over-the-top wrestling arcade game too, that I can never remember the name of.
Oh, WrestleMania?
I know you know it, BLJ. We've talked about it before.
WWF?
Was it WrestleMania?
Yep.
That had like Bam Bam Bigelow and what was it, Doink the Clown?
Yep, that was WWF WrestleMania.
Yep.
That one.
We talked about what we. Oh, go ahead.
What was I about to say? That one, I was actually playing that one pretty recently on an emulator, maybe like a week ago. Yeah, they the combos are different in that game because I was playing against the computer and they like doing all these crazy things on me. You know, I looked up how to do the moves and it's a little different, but it's definitely a fun game.
Yeah. I remember playing that one a lot. Like I said, I played a lot of my arcade games at restaurants. We had a WWF cabinet at Fuddruckers.
Right.
Get some burger and fries. You know, we know you love fries, BLJ, and play some WrestleMania.
Some crunchy fries, boy. Boy, I love me some crunchy fries. You know, man. You ever had like them soggy fries? And it's like, bro, what is this? It feels like a wet potato. Like, you want those soggy fries? You want one that's kind of crunchy?
Well, technically, soggy fries are wet potatoes.
You know what? Yeah, you're 100% correct.
You are technically correct.
You are correct, actually. That is true. Nah, but like a crunchy fry that's seasoned just right. You know, you bite into it, got a little crunch to it. Boy, that thing's delicious.
Yep.
Well, this is not a food.
Make me hungry. Shut
delicious. He upped the vocabulary. These are delicious. But no, I feel you though.
Scrumptious.
Mm-hmm.
Careful using them college words.
Yeah, no, but
no, we talked about things we like in open world. What about things you guys don't like about open world games?
Oh, let me go first.
Go first.
A series that I really enjoy, which actually they've announced that they're working on a part 4 of the Mafia series, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, because it's Mafia 1 through 3, and then they got the 4th one coming out. I don't know when. I just they basically announced that they're working on it, so there's no trailer or nothing like that. But I will say the last Mafia 3, the repetitive missions, horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like go to place A.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, go to place A, kill these people.
Was that episode 3 or 4?
Yep. Go here, kill people, then go there, kill people, go here, kill people, and then basically you're just killing all these different territories to make the territory your territory. But then like the actual story missions are done well. But like the side missions and the little missions in between to like progress the story, they're just super repetitive. Like I hate repetitive things in open world games, man. It just makes the game super boring.
Now that sounds like a game you talked about. What was it, last week?
Which one was that one?
Didn't you bring that up again last week? What was it, Saints Row? The new Saints Row? Or no, Saints Row 4 that was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yep. A lot of people feel like the missions are just uninspired, you know. It's like the characters.
Oh, it is the new Saints Row.
Yeah. I mean, that game has a lot of issues with it, based off what I've heard. I haven't actually played it myself, but just going off of the myriad of channels that I've heard speak about it, like it's not well received for many reasons, you know. Kind of like I don't know if you guys remember all the hype for Cyberpunk when that came out like 2 years ago.
I definitely remember the hype. I definitely remember.
They put that piece in the oven and took it out before the pepperonis got warm, boy. That game was jacked all the way up. That's another thing. I know I'm taking a turn here, but just unfinished games in general.
You do you, man.
No, just unfinished games, man. That game came out and it was crashing all over the place. Clipping issues.
That's a problem with the gaming industry as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. I guess when it comes to open world games, Assassin's Creed has had that reputation of being unfinished, but the Cyberpunk was like Assassin's Creed times 20. Like it was all kind of stuff. I remember one of the glitches in the game. If you commit a crime and then police show up, you know, just like any other game, it'll be like 50 police show up at once. So like if you commit a crime, you just die instantly because you can't dodge bullets from 30 people, you know.
And don't they just spawn like within 10 feet of you?
Yeah, just randomly. They just randomly surround you and you just die.
So you can't even run from them because they spawn on top of you anyway.
Yes. Horrible.
Yep.
Horrible game. I mean, they say they fixed it. You know, they've added a lot of patches and stuff like that. Last time I heard about it, they said that the patches, you know, helped the game out tremendously, but there's still a lot of issues with it. So I guess it's more playable now, but it just has less issues, but still issues that are very noticeable.
Yeah, but that's not saying much, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it, so I don't know. I was super into it when it first came out.
From what I've seen, or what I saw in videos when the game first came out, the game was like borderline just straight up not playable.
Yeah.
So just to be able to play the game at all, I think is an improvement. And that's why I say that's not really saying much.
Right.
Like you didn't really have a whole lot further down you could go than Cyberpunk on release date.
Yeah, that sucks, man, because I was really hyped up about that game. And I got it, even through all the BS that was happening with it, I was still playing it pretty heavily until I was like, you know what, I'm just going to wait some months till they patch it up and then play it. But I just never went back to it.
Funny, because I got an urge to play that. I had an urge to play that today for some reason. I have the game. Not knocking them, but the game was performing way below expectations due to the negative feedback it received. So they put it on the PlayStation Store super cheap. I think I picked that mug up for like $24. I was like, oh man, it might be.
You paid about $22 too much.
We're gonna try it out. I don't know. Like I haven't played it yet, but they say it's a lot better now. Given the fact that they tried to sell it for $70 plus. What is it? 74 whatever plus taxes, and I got it for 24. I'm with it. Like even if it sucks, I can play it for a little bit and then just leave it alone. But from what I've heard, it's a good experience now. Not
in all fairness,
just amazing, but good.
Yeah. In all fairness, if Sony let them put it back on the PlayStation Store, it's probably in a semi-decent state, because I know, and Microsoft did the same. They both pulled it from their online stores and pretty much told CD Projekt Red, hey, this isn't going back up until you get it together.
Yep, I remember that. A lot of people got their refunds back too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
so, if it's back on the store, maybe it's in a playable state.
Well, what about you guys?
Hopefully for you anyway, because I'd feel bad if you spent that money and can't even play the game.
What about you guys? What do you guys want to see change differently in open world games? What do you don't like?
Man, I'm gonna sound super lame. I don't play enough open world to have a big nitpick. Like the repetition, I feel like, and I'm not knocking you, that's a great topic to bring up. But even that Spider-Man game, I heard somebody said that it felt repetitive. What is it? Is it just called Spider-Man? That one.
Yeah, I think so.
Grand Theft Auto, the sandbox, all those sandbox genres, Grand Theft Auto, a lot of repetition. Like in Vice City, you used to have this cool dude that would call you on the phone. Hello, Mr. Teal. He used to call you Mr. Teal, whatever. Those missions were repetitive. Jump in this car, run this guy down, win this race. I think that comes with, how vast the world is. If you had like 300 unique missions, that would be amazing. But that would require a lot of thinking power, a lot of new dialogue, and a lot of new motion capture. And all that's good. But what happens when they pour all their resources into that and it doesn't sell well?
Yeah.
Or someone else will be like, oh man, it's just so much to do. I can't focus on one thing. 1 minute I'm doing this, 1 minute I'm doing that. I spoke about one lawsuit. I spoke about armchair developers the last episode. And I believe you heard it because it was before you got Thanos snapped. But if they go by armchair developers the whole ride, they'll give them what they want, and then they still won't invest in the game. So they're trying to find a healthy balance between not making it too repetitive, making it seem fresh, but reusing some of the assets that they already have. Boy, it sounds like I develop games. But
they're also trying
to
appeal to the lowest common denominators as well, because they want to sell as many copies as possible. So by not putting in too many overly complicated things to do and sticking with the formula that seems to have stuck around for the last 15 years or so, they're kind of hedging their bets on selling a large number of copies rather than trying to be more unique, because the more unique you are, the less of an audience you appeal to.
So to give a little pushback on the repetitive nature in the Spider-Man games, the last one I played, well, the most recent one, because I got it when it first came out, some of the missions were repetitive, like the crimes, like the random crimes that would happen when you're like patrolling a city. Like if you're just in between like main missions, because the main missions were really good. Like there's no repetitiveness in them. I mean, at the end of the day, you're Spider-Man fighting bad guys, and that's what you're gonna do. But like, what was repetitive about it was when random crimes would happen. It would always be there's like a car chase. You jump on top of the car. It has the same car door ripping animation, or you'll fight these guys that's fighting. They're stealing like from a jewelry store or something. It'll literally be the same thing every time. But I feel like for that game, what made it not as bad is there was a lot of other things that the game done well. Like this was like the first Spider-Man game where the web slinging, like the traveling through the city through web slinging, was like done really well, like really fun. it was to the point where people were like, man, I just love playing this game just to web sling through the city. You know what I mean? So even if it had some repetitive things, it done a lot of good things to the point where you just kind of overlook it, you know? So it's not as bad as a game like Mafia 3 where, you know, you jump in your car and drive everywhere and you do the same mission every time. And there's really not much more that's really that exciting about it for you to overlook the repetitiveness. You know what I mean?
And you weren't
Yeah, I
just
feel
web
you.
swinging, you know, one web left, one web right. Like you had all the different, what's the word, maneuverability options. You know,
Yeah,
you
you
could
can do like,
slingshot yourself, you could
yep,
do the super launch.
yep,
You know,
yep,
you had all these different options to increase mobility.
yep. And then on top of that, while you were
Whereas,
web
you know,
swinging,
Mafia 3, you're just driving a car.
yeah. And then also in Spider-Man, you could do like random flips if you wanted to, just to like kind of
Yeah.
get some extra
Oh,
style
stunts.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like those
Yeah, I
things.
forgot about that.
Yeah, those things in the game. And then on top of that, you could unlock different Spider-Man costumes. And then a lot of those had their own unique powers too. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it had a lot of stuff that would kind of make you be like, all right, this game is repetitive, but it does do some really cool things. And it's like, I could kind of look past it. You know what I mean? Because I remember thinking that too. I was like, this game is repetitive, like the street crimes and stuff. But overall,
Yeah.
the things that are done well in this game really makes me look at that like a very small thing in the overall scheme of things. You know what I mean?
I'm going to
Another
agree
thing, and
and
I'm not
disagree with
knocking
you on
you.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me catch that mic right quick. I just
Go
want to tell
ahead.
them this. Another reason that you say that's minor, and I'm not knocking you, is you probably a fan of Spider-Man. So your tolerance level will be a bit higher as to something you're not familiar with. Like even like you say, even though that stuff is repetitive, you don't mind you don't mind shooting
Blooper
web
reel.
juice in baddies' faces. Yeah, you don't mind shooting web juice in people's faces, you know what I'm saying?
I do
Whereas if
not
it was
mind
something
shooting web
new,
pieces in people's faces.
yeah. So that's where that tolerance level goes up. Go ahead, Lambo.
You said agree
So
and
I
disagree.
mean, I 100% agree with you
Okay.
that the random crimes are super repetitive. But I do think it's a step in the right direction of having things randomly happen while you're just out and about. I definitely thought that was a good idea. I just wish there was more variety to it. However, Spider-Man falls into the same, I don't know if I want to say trap, because it's not necessarily a negative thing because it works and you kind of know what to do with these mechanics. But it falls into the same pitfall as all the other open world games do these days, where it's go to a high point in the city, survey the area, find missions, do side missions, take down, you know, a fortified location to claim territory, get a couple collectibles, go to the next area.
Right.
You know, they all have some variation on that. You know, Horizon does the same thing. You climb to the top of the tall necks, survey the area, and it unlocks or reveals parts of the map and things that you can do in that particular area.
Right.
Far Cry does the same thing, where you go and liberate enemy camps, or not liberate them, you kill enemies in their little fortified areas, and it gives your rebels control of that area. Infamous does the same thing. Like a lot of these open world games do exactly that, and it's not terrible. Like I don't see that and instantly hate it. I just wish that we could be a little bit different. That we could do not the same thing in every game. You know?
Right. And to offer a little pushback on the because you said Grand Theft Auto is repetitive as well. Grand Theft Auto, in comparisons to pretty much every other open world game, you can do so much in that game.
No, I didn't say Grand Theft Auto.
No, Torian said that he heard that it was repetitive.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I feel like some of the stuff in there is repetitive, but at the same time, they give you so
Yeah.
much. You can fly airplanes, you can fly cars, you can fly boats, you can play tennis. You could do taxi missions.
Yeah.
You can do. I would say the only missions that are really repetitive is like the side missions that are optional, like how you can do like the taxi missions to like just drive people around, and even those are different. So they might have you do some. If I remember correctly, in Grand Theft Auto 5, you can do like Uber type thing in there, but like every ride, like somebody would do something different. Like you might have to run away from somebody. Like at the end of the day, you're still driving, but they're like, now you got to escape from this place because the person you picked up maybe stole something from this guy. And now these cars are chasing you and now you're shooting them. You know what I mean? So it offers a little bit of variety, but overall though, like it's just so much you can do. Like, in comparison to like what's some other like Assassin's Creed or like Saints Row, like Grand Theft Auto just has a ton of things to do. You can ride bikes, you can do marathons, like you just do a whole bunch of shit that is not even heard of in other games. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's their
And I
way
don't know
of
if
kind
you're
of
also
skipping it.
including.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know if you're including the online mode in that too, but there's a lot of the PvP mini games that you can do to vary it up as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep. I didn't really get
So
into Grand Theft Auto.
I don't think Grand Theft Auto falls into that same category as a lot of the others. And like I said, not every open world game does follow that same kind of formula, but an overwhelming majority of them do follow that formula.
Yeah, you're right.
And again, it doesn't break the game. It doesn't make it a bad game. It would just be nice to do something different.
Right. You know, one thing I do like in open world games, I feel like a lot of them have good side characters. You know, like they're very entertaining. Like some can be kind of dumb, but like I
Yes.
feel like they have some really good personalities in some of these open world games.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is from the Grand Theft Auto Liberty stories. I think it's the Ballad of Gay Tony. Uh, there's a guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy in there. He's a Middle Eastern guy. His name is Yusuf. Super funny. He's like a super rich fat guy from like the Middle East somewhere, but like his commentary throughout the whole game, like he's extremely funny. You know, he was so funny. I felt like they should make a little side story with just him. You know, no, I feel like they do a really good job with having new characters introduced into the stories. You know.
Well, I don't know if you like Yusuf Toro. You think he would really like old Don Corneo?
Who's that?
He might, but I don't know who Yusuf is. I don't know how similar they are because Don Corneo, I used to call him Don Corneo. I didn't even know it was pronounced Corneo. But
I didn't either
I'm gonna call him Don
until the remake.
Well, I'm still gonna call him Don Corneo. So all the grammar police, whatever, bear with me. But Don Corneo, I know his personality. I don't know Yusuf, but you asked who he was, BLJ. Give you a brief explanation because I don't think we're gonna turn this into a documentary today. But he's this guy on Final Fantasy VII, and he views himself as a playboy. In reality, he just has a lot of money, and he gets fresh girls brought to him every night that want to be stars. And there's this club called the Honey Bee Inn, and a lot of them want to be featured there. And some of them are featured there, but the ones he really likes, they become one of his girls. And I don't want you to have a dirty
His
mind,
wives.
but yeah, that. But I was gonna say they stay in his room and play board games all night. Use your imagination
Chess.
for that. But yeah,
A little bit of Monopoly.
Yeah, they're playing Monopoly and Don't Wake Daddy and all the good bangers from back in the day.
Don't Wake
I'd
Daddy?
have to. You've never
Don't
heard of
Wake
that game?
Daddy? No.
Bro, I
Don't
forgot about
Wake
that
Daddy.
shit.
Oh man. Well, this is.
Hey, I might change my name
I'll
from
tell you about that later,
BLJ34
yeah.
to Don't Wake Daddy. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know the difference between the two, so that's the answer to that question.
Oh, okay. Don't Wake Daddy,
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Only one way to find out then.
Yeah. So does
Maybe
that
one
wrap
day.
up y'all's topics for today? Or did y'all have anything else we go over? Because I feel like we covered quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I definitely got what I wanted to say out about open world. Just more cheat codes. That's all I want. More cheat codes. Just let me have fun in the world that's been created.
Hopefully they'll hear us. You know, this.
I want to run around in Horizon and shoot a giant robot dinosaur with a force arrow, and that thing get launched into space because we're in low gravity mode.
Or let me have a cyberboard instead of riding around on the animal. Let me have a hoverboard.
Yeah,
with new weapons or something.
Stuff like I want to say in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, they had a super punch combo, super punch cheat code where you punch people and they like fly like 80 feet. Like that was an amazing cheat code.
Yep.
But I think games need more stuff like that. If we could play God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn and we had like super punch or super kick to where you could kick people to the moon, like that'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, people see this and just be like, hey, we want to put that in the game.
Just dumb things that make it fun and change up how you would normally play the game. But why not?
And one last one. One more thing.
Here we go.
So,
I'm gonna hold you to that.
What game it was? I was actually looking at a top 10 Easter eggs or cheat codes in games, and it was one game.
FIFA 2019.
I had to find it, man, but I don't know if you entered a code or you unlocked it, but there was a gun and it was like a unicorn, but when you shoot it, it's the unicorn starting like unicorn shit at people.
Yeah, it's Saints Row 3 or 4, isn't it?
I'm not sure. It could be.
Or is it a Borderlands game?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
All I know is
I remember seeing the clip of it, but I don't remember what game it is.
Point the ass of the unicorn at people and shoot them with like unicorn dust shit.
You lift the tail up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like that.
You lift the tail up and it fires a rainbow laser beam.
Yes.
Pink eye. Whoa, get back.
Those are the kind of cheat codes you need.
And it was really funny because the unicorn's face was animated too. So when you'd shoot it, like its face, it would like start screaming and yelling.
Yes. we need more of those.
That was a pretty funny weapon.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm probably finna park the party wagon. But Lambo, you usually do this, but I want to do it to our listeners. What would you like to see changed in open world, or what do you not like about open world, or what do you like about open world? And I'll also say, what were some of your favorite cheat codes? Any cheat codes you didn't like? Any game that just was amazing with cheat codes? Do us a favor and let us know in the comments. We'd like to read them. So that's my piece on it, and I'm gonna throw it to BLJ and Lambo.
Yeah, just write down in the comments what cheat codes did you like, some ones did you not like, what would you like to see, what open world games are coming out that you're interested in, or even some open world games that you like or dislike for whatever reason. Let us know, and pass it on to Lambo.
Yeah, I want to know what's coming up that y'all are excited about.
Right now?
What open world game is coming up? No. This is for the viewers. I want to know what they think. I want to know what open world game is coming up that you're excited about and you're looking forward to. And then while you're at it, make sure to smash that subscribe button, like button, tell your friends. We're cool guys.
Yeah.
And with all of that being said, gentlemen, let's go play some Soul Calibur 3.
No, I'm game. Rock Lee Long.
No, I'm not game.
Mr. Rudy. One day we'll convince him. Yeah.
All right, well, till next time.
I'm not playing Soul Calibur 3. Keep that mess over there. But yeah, until next time.
All right, later, y'all.
All right, later, y'all.
It's been an honor, guys.
Always.
Thank you for playing. Later.